Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Samantha Anderson. I am a freelance artist and teacher hoping to inspire creativity. If you would like more videos like these, please take a second to like and subscribe down below. It really helps in the algorithm of YouTube to help get my videos seen to more people. If you want to receive notifications of when I go live, please make sure to hit the bell and choose all notifications. If you have any questions during or after the class, make sure to pop a comment down below and I will answer it as soon as I can. If interested in learning more about my classes, please follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And feel free to check me out on Patreon, where I teach exclusive classes to those who support me. In Patreon, I also give traceables for all of my live classes, including this one. Lastly, if you would like to share your work after class with me and others who painted along with us, please head over to Facebook, as I have an artist community where you can share your finished painting with us. I'll leave links for all of that in the description box below. Thanks for joining me, and let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to another YouTube tutorial. I am so excited for this painting. We haven't done a palette knife painting in a while. One of my favorite memories is here on the channel. The very first one that I did live for you was a abstract animal. It was an owl, and I absolutely love doing that. So I'm really excited to do this bright colored flamingo. So buckle up and let's get started. If you are new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe and also go over to Facebook. That's where I post probably 95% of everything versus classes and polls and contests and Patreon classes. Everything that you're going to need is over on my Facebook. So please go follow over there, as well as my artist community where you can get in touch with all the classes that I post. And in each of those albums that I have over on in that free community over on Facebook, you have the class link as well as the traceable link for all of my classes. And speaking of traceables, we do have a traceable for this class. If you do not want to use the traceable, that is totally fine. You can draw in your own picture or maybe another reference picture that you have. Maybe you've been to the zoo and you have your own photo that you want to paint. That's totally fine too. But for those of you who would like to use a traceable, I do have it available in my Patreon for my lilac tier patrons and up. I have it linked down below as well as in the description, so the chat and the description, as well as on all of the Facebook posts that I make for this class, as well as in the event. So if you came over from Facebook from the event, you should have it in there as well. Yeah, so that is that. I have my Patreon. If you are not a patron and you would like to become a patron, it's $5 for the traceable tier, which is the lilac tier, and you'll get access to not only this one, but every other traceable post that I've ever made in Patreon. So you get the whole vault of traceables for that tier. But just note that it is the close to the end of the month. It is the 26th. So you will need to cancel your membership because it's monthly. So you will need to cancel your membership within the next 5 days if you do not want to be charged again for next month. But if you decide to stay for next month, you'll get access to those traceables as well. And you'll have access to all of them as long as you're an active patron. So that's the traceables. I have that available in there. And if you are a patron, you'll have access to the 11x14 as well as the 9x12. But if you are a patron and you want to become a patron and you have a different size canvas, feel free to comment on that post and let me know. It's really easy for me to resize it. If you have like a bigger canvas, especially if you have a smaller canvas, but if you have a bigger one, I can cut it into like 4 to 6 pages so that you can print them out, tape them together and use it. So just let me know if you ever need a larger size traceable. I am available as the artist for the patron for the Patreon. I can adjust that for you. Okay, so let's go over some other supplies. So 11x14 stretched canvas. You have the traceable. Again, if you don't want to use the traceable, that's totally fine. You can draw it on yourself. I have 2 things of water. And then for the brushes, we're not going to be using too many brushes today. because it is a palette knife class. I do have my large filbert out just in case I want to use that, maybe wrap the canvas with it. But yeah, and then I have a couple different sizes and shapes. So this is the one that I use every class to mix my paint. And we will be doing that before we start painting. So I have that one, and then I have a larger version of it. We have a mama and a baby. And then I have this round one. This might be good for getting more of the rounded edges types of things, but we'll see. I don't really know what we plan on doing with these, but I have them out just in case I want to use them. Again, I haven't done a palette knife class in a while, so I'm excited just to explore. And if you've never done a palette knife class and this is your first one, you have to learn how to let go and just trust the process. And it might feel clunky. It might be hard at times because if you're used to painting realism, for instance, you're going to want to put in those details and make it smooth or whatever, blanket blended. And you got to just like know when to stop. And that just comes with practice. So if this is your first time, welcome. I'm excited that you're here. I know the first time I was doing a palette knife class, I was like so not nervous, but I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I've learned to love palette knife classes, just palette knife paintings, just because of how loose I can be, and there's not a whole lot of pressure to make it perfect, which sometimes realism can draw that out in me, which is why some classes end up being 4 or 5 hours in Patreon. Some of our cobalt classes end up being a little bit longer because we're working through that detail. But it's a lot of fun. But for something like this, I enjoy not having to have it perfect and just being able to be a little bit more free in my expression of the painting. So let's go ahead and go over colors, because that is kind of the last thing before we get started. If you want to make this a little bit more true to colors, you're going to need your gray, and then you're going to need your pink. So you have black, white, and pink. If you want to go a little bit more of colored and abstract, you can have a combination of those colors. So your black, your white, and then your pinks. I have 2 different colors of pinks. I have a bright neon pink, because who knows, we might be using that. Maybe mix it a little bit with our magenta rose color. And then if you're wanting to do a little bit more of an abstract-y kind of colors, a little bit more color in it, you can also get out your phthalo blue, and then I also have a violet, which is a very dark purple, and then a kind of lavender, like a lighter color. So I was trying to figure out what color it was, and I realized I stole the label. I stole the label from this and put it on a derby car that I made. I made a paint bottle for a derby car, and I realized I never put it back. I'm like, I don't know what color this is, but it's purple. It's violet, you know, whatever. So yeah, those are the colors that I will be using. Just to note on the bottles and the Hippie acrylics, these are full body acrylics. These are from Hippie Crafter. I love their paints. I always recommend them. They're great, and I actually really like having them in bottles. They store better, as well as I can put paint back if I squeeze out too much, which I can't really do with the tubes, which I often do because I get impulsive and I'm just like, I need this much. I'm like, oh wait, no I don't. So if you're anything like me and you like being able to put it back, the bottles are actually really, really great for that. They're also really easy to refill when I get new paints. And yeah, so there's that. So I have my black, my white, my purples, my pinks, and my blue. And the blue is to accent any highlights that might be in the black part of the bill of the beak. And so that's what that's for. Again, you don't have to use these colors. You can use your own colors, but we're going abstract today. So let's have fun with pops of color. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, please message down below in the chat. There's other people here. there's other people here painting with you that might also have that question. So feel free to just ask it down below. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I do have other Patreon classes to go over, but we're going to do the background first, and then I'll give you a sneak peek on the final things for that. I've showed some of that on Facebook, but I haven't showed the final one of the I haven't showed the final one yet to anybody. I mean, I did on Facebook, but I haven't showed anyone here on YouTube yet. So okay, yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're gonna do the background first. So we need our black and our white, and I'm thinking instead of having the background kind of be that kind of texture, almost like grass looking, I'm gonna do kind of a light and dark outward, and I'll show you what I mean, but it's gonna be all textures. So when we're doing palette knife stuff, and I realize you can't see this, let me adjust this real fast. There we go. Okay. All right, so that's a little bit better. Now you can see a little bit more of the palette. I'm gonna go down. Okay. So this is the colors that we're using right now. And let's go ahead. Yeah, I think we'll kind of do like light in the middle and kind of darker on the edges. I think that'll look nice. So we're going to just create our colors. And I'm going to create a lighter gray and then a darker gray. So I'm just kind of going half and half, and then maybe a little bit more black. I might do like a medium gray too, who knows. We'll see. Let's see what color this is. It might be close to the same. And you are going to be using a lot of paint because of how much texture is going to be on this. Right, and then I'm going to do one more for the outer edge of this. All right, so here are my three. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start from, I'm gonna start from the middle and kind of work my way out a little bit. And we'll see if I need more, if I need more paint at this part. So I'm just going to, actually, you know what I think I'm gonna do? Let's go ahead and do a undercoat of this gray, and this will give us a nice undercoat to work with, so that that stark white isn't there. The background specifically is going to be a little bit less textured than the Flamingo, because I want the Flamingo to stand out just a little bit more than the background. And so by having it a little bit less textured, that will kind of help. Just visually, that will help. All All right, I'm gonna go into the dark a little bit. And I'm gonna be really rough with the application because it's gonna have so much texture on it anyways. It doesn't really matter. You don't necessarily want it to be messy, like you want your lines. You don't want to get rid of your, your lines for your flamingo, your traceable, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with the dark on the edge. And I'm just going back and forth, kind of in a figure eight a little bit. So this will be a good time to paint the bottoms and tops and stuff, because you'll probably just keep it that color and won't add any more to it. Gonna add the dark tones, and again I'm being really loose with this all. Yeah, I think doing a thick undercoat is the perfect way of doing this. I'm gonna put a little bit of white in the middle section. Mostly because I started out with having a slightly lighter, thinner coat, so I need to add just a little bit of this over here, kind of fill in all the little white things that are poking through. Okay. All right, so it's already a little bit textured. We're gonna go ahead and rinse off our brush. and I'm going to make more of this. So I'm gonna grab some more black because we're gonna add texture to it. So it doesn't have to be the same exact shade, but just something close to it. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna put a little bit more white on my plate, on my palette. And with our larger one, I'm gonna go ahead and take some of this and maybe just get a little bit of a lighter gray. And I'm just going to kind of move it around. And you can add in some white if you need to. Remember to let go. And remember that the first go at your canvas doesn't have to be what it looks like. Like, you can keep working at it until it's something that you're happy with. So I'm going to keep all this down here. So something that I'm noticing that mine's doing is when I push down, it's giving it's giving little marks, which I don't necessarily dislike. But I think I'm gonna try out one of my other ones. I'm gonna bring in some of this white, pull it out a little bit, and that seems to be working a little bit better. You can also lift up your your palette knife to give some texture like that too. You can just kind of dab it for textures too. I'm just gonna put this in kind of the middle-ish area, maybe over here a little bit. I'm gonna go into the white area. Let that mix in. Maybe we'll come back over here and gently add some white. Once it starts drying, there's no saying that you can't go back over it because it's supposed to be textured. So if for some reason you're like looking at it as a whole and you're like, you know what, it needs to be whiter here, or whatever the case is, or it needs to be more mixed in, or whatever the case, like, you can go back over it even if it's half dry. That'll just give it more texture. I'll grab some of this black, put it on the corners. And the reason I'm going so fast is because I'm trying to not think about it. Because if I stay in one spot too much, I'll start thinking about, or like overthinking it, and I'll start working on a place too much. But kind of leaving it be and letting it kind of crust over and dry a little bit is actually really helpful in these types of paintings, where you're kind of trying to get that texture. I'm just gonna put a little bit of texture over on the side. Not a whole lot, but just enough to kind of blend in if you were to look on the side. So at this point you can start going back over. I have a flat palette when I'm doing this, and the paint is catching all the texture from before, and it's just adding that even much more texture. All right. So there's that. I think that looks really good. I'm gonna just maybe blend it out just a little bit more. We're just adding texture, taking it away, adding more texture, mixing it, not mixing it. All right, I like it. All right, so now we're going to rinse these off. I'm just taking an extra paper towel that I have and wiping that off. And doing that. All right, again, the key with this is to be loose. Just be quick and loose and try not to think about it too much, because if you stop and think, you're gonna think too much. Just do it, right? So that's the hard part if you're used to painting more of a realism style. This might be a little hard for you, so stretch yourself, just go for it, don't think about it, just do it, and hopefully it'll work out. And if it doesn't work out, do it again until it gets easier, because I know the first time I did it I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but the more you do it, the more you love it, and the easier it gets to be a little bit more free in it. I am noticing for me there's just kind of this chunk of darkness, so I'm gonna just kind of pull that up a little bit and just out. Just so that it's not all in the corner. Yeah, and that kind of mixed in a little bit. And you can even pull it out. And I'm gonna put a little bit more up here. There we go. I like that. Sometimes it's hard to figure out when to stop, you know? All right, so there's that. I'm gonna wipe off my hands a little bit. Perks of having some extra paper towels, because this does get messy sometimes. Palette knives are not the cleanest form of painting. Okay, there we go. So there's that. While this kind of dries a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and show you what we've been doing in Patreon over the last month, as well as what we did in Patreon for our tutorial tier, for our Magenta tier. So first, I'd like to share what we did 2 weeks ago here on the channel for free. We did this very colorful, almost a little bit abstract in its color. We did a space orca. So if you like beautiful colors, if you like orcas, if you like animals, mountains, seascape, stars, it has it all. So it's kind of the best of all the worlds, in my opinion. And it's really fun colors. You could change the colors if you wanted to. Instead of purples, you could add reds, make it bright, make it orange, whatever colors you want to do. You can add this, but that's what we did 2 weeks ago. So that is free on my channel. If you're watching this kind of live as it is coming out on YouTube, then feel free to just go to my page. It should be like the last one that was posted for my videos. So yeah, feel free to go and paint that. It was a lot of fun. Over in Patreon, kind of the same type of, we're doing lots of colorful animals this time around, this month. So we did a abstract colorful bear, and look at how bright this guy is. This is actually, technically it's part of a series we're doing over on Patreon. It's kind of just a running series. We've done a elephant, a giraffe, a lion, as well as a rhino, and then we have the bear. So there's a bunch of different animals that we're doing in that type of style. Just the colorful realism in it, the shapes of the animals, but abstract in color. So if you have an idea for what to paint next for that, if you want to become a patron and have access to the next animal we paint for that, I'll be posting a poll probably next month about what we do next, so you can actually have some input on what we paint next for that one. But yeah, let's go ahead and go over what we are doing for the highest tier. So this month we painted a girl and her horse, so a little girl, and I'd just like to say that painting skin is hard, and it takes time, and it takes correction, and it takes playing with color over and over and over again. I think for her arm probably has like 4 or 5 coats of paint, because it just wasn't, I kept having to like redo it over and over again because it wasn't working out. I love the finished product. I'm just saying that for your own journey. If you are doing portraits, it is hard with acrylics because there's not a lot of blending that you can do once it dries. With oil, it's like you can just put those colors on there, blend it all together, and it's great. With acrylics, it's a little bit different because things dry. So if you're wanting to learn how to do skin color, this was a really fun one. It did take a lot longer than I anticipated, but look at how cute she is. Guys, this little kid. It's not even my kid, but she's cute. So this is the painting that we did. A little girl in a dress and her horse. I love how it all came out. And if you had kids, you can take a photo of your kid and put your kid in her place. So feel free to go and paint that. We just finished that up last night, actually. I had to do a 5th. I didn't want to push it over until next month. Just for personal reasons, I wanted to finish it this month. And I think the last class last night, I didn't do it live because I wasn't sure how long it was going to be. It was like 2 or 3 hours of finishing just her and some of the other things on the horse, but it took so long because I kept having to redo stuff. So if you ever have to spend a lot more time on something than you think you will, it's okay, it happens, and give yourself grace, okay guys? All right, so that's what we're doing in Patreon. If you ever want to know more about Patreon, there's actually a free members tab on my Patreon. And if you want to get updates on current things that are going on in Patreon from Patreon, you can go to my Patreon, sign up as a free member, and then you'll get any perks or posts that I release for free patrons. or for the public, you will get an email saying that, hey, this person posted this, and you'll get like essentially first access. A lot of times I will post things on Patreon first before I do it on Facebook. So that's, in terms of Patreon, that's a really good spot to be. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and remove some of this because this took up a lot of real estate on my palette. There we go. So that is that. And for the rest of this, we're going to get our pinks out. So I'm going to do this bright pink and mix it with just a little bit of my darker magenta pink. So I have like a bright pink. Oh my gosh. Under the camera, they look the same. They're not the same. What? That is crazy. They look the same. Okay, maybe this. There we go. So these are more of the correct colors. So that what you see on here, this is a very vibrant pink. It's not that orange, but this color looks very similar to what it is in real life. So you have a very bright, vibrant pink and then a kind of duller magenta pink. This one's a little bit darker, so I'm going to mix those together so I get just a little bit of a milder pink. I might add just a little bit of white to it. So let me grab my white. I need to get more white paint. Okay, I'm gonna get just a little bit of white in here. I'm gonna do a bit more of the dark pink. This is good. I like this. It's just bright. Not quite as neon as the other one, but just bright pink. All right, now I'm gonna take what is on my what's on my palette knife and mix some other white to it. Add a little bit more pink, and this is going to be the undertone for this one. Perfect. All right, so before we move on, I'm gonna wipe this off and we're gonna grab this guy again. The first thing I'm going to do is take some of this blackish color and I'm going to fill this line with black, and that is so that when I go over this color with my pink, if for some reason I go over it too much, I will still be able to see where everything is supposed to go. All right, so there's that. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this out. And I'm gonna start with the darker gray, or the lighter pink first. And we're just going to put this on this whole thing. Don't forget to do the underside. I like to do it first so that I don't forget later. and make sure to go over all of this gray, particularly if you went into the neck. All right, let me grab my water real fast. Okay. Okay. So we'll just keep moving with our pink. And right now we're just trying to cover up all of the white, so don't worry about where the line is actually supposed to be. Just focus on covering up the just the canvas. All right, so just as a little bit, I'm gonna add just a touch of gray, maybe a touch of the dark pink to the underside right here. Just to visually try to see where it's going. Go in with a little bit of pink right here. That's about where things are, yeah. All right, so now we're gonna go into the pink. And if the black isn't completely dry, that's okay. The black wasn't completely dry on mine, it's fine. All right. So let's go ahead and rinse out our brush. I'm gonna go ahead and get a smaller brush, so maybe a round pointed, maybe like a 3 or 4 brush. And I'm going to use the pink, the light pink, to go around the eye. And then I'm going to use a grayish color for the eye. Gray and maybe a little bit of white. Gray, maybe white on the bottom. Because then you can come in with black. And do that. Okay, it is time for palette knife work. I think I'm going to use the same palette knife. I really liked all the texture that came in, but we'll kind of see how that works out. Let's see. I need to make more light pink. That's what I need to do. So I'm going to take all of this and add a little bit more of this pink to it. And then we're also going to get a purple. So the kind of lavender, dark lavender purple, the one that I don't know the name of because I used it for a derby car. And then also your deep violet, which is a very, very dark purple. I'm actually going to add a tiny bit of white to this purple so that I can see the color a little bit better. And I'm going to add a little bit more. And I'm actually going to add a little bit of white to the lavender purple, as well as a little bit of the dark purple to change the hue a little bit. All right, so now we have a couple different purples. And then I'm also going to get out my blue, my dark blue, and actually that's too much, so I'm going to put some back. Here's the example of me getting overly excited about a color and pushing out too much. I'm just going to add a little bit of white to it. There we go. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get out some more black to do the beak. Alright, and I'm gonna wait for this to dry before I add any other color on it, because I think I'm gonna add the lighter to like the half that's kind of reflecting where the white is in the picture. It's kind of like a light gray. I think that's what I'll do there. Okay, I'm gonna take my handy dandy spatula, and we're gonna create some fun work. So we're just gonna kind of put this pink all over. And then we're going to, let's see, I'm gonna work my way up, I think. I'm going to do this. We're going to maybe grab a little bit of pink. And I also grabbed black, which I did not mean to do. I did not know that that was on there. And I don't think I like it. So I'm just going to work it back out. All there. All done. And I'm going to do some purple. And some darker purple on maybe where the shadows are supposed to be. And I'm going to take some white and add some white in here too. I mostly want white up here. So I'm just kind of adding what I feel makes sense. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add some paint over the eye. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get my smaller one, my smaller palette knife. And you can put, this is where you get to kind of put some more texture on it. You could put chunks of paint. I'm going to give the back of it a little bit of flare in its shape. Kind of flare it out a little bit. I think that works nicely. I think I'm gonna get a little bit more white up here. Alright, so there's that. I'm going to add a little bit of pink, of darker pink around the eye. And a little bit of purple around the bottom. And I'm just gonna going to add this down this way. So I didn't like how much purple was in there. So we are adjusting the colors on the cheek. And now I think we are ready to get this bright pink. And then I'm going to use the tip of it to go down into the other area right here. I'm going to take a little bit of white and put it on the top of it. I'm going to take a little bit of purple and a little bit of black. And mix together just a little bit of a shadowish color. I'm not going to use very much of it. I'm just kind of adding dips of color in different places. Put a little thing right there. And you can put this black line in with a brush or with your palette knife, whatever you're comfortable with. And then I'm going to take some of this blue and just add a little bit of white to some of it. Grab more white. gonna go ahead and work on the eye real quick. And I'm gonna put a little bit of like eyelash, not eyelashes, but just a little bit more stuff around the eye than is what actually there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this light color of blue on this side. All right, so that's that. I'm gonna grab some black. No, I'm gonna grab some white and add some white up there. You can add white to above the nostril. Now I'm just adding a little bit of the detail on the bottom, how some of it kind of like comes up a little bit. And depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I'm using the tip of it, sometimes I'm using the side of it to get more like straight lines or streaks. All right. I'm gonna put a little bit of this shadow color on the underside of the beak. And I'm going to go in with a liner brush now So I'm just going to put in a little bit of detailing. Maybe I'll do some of this with the darker purple maybe. I'm not really trying to get the lines like perfect. If you do end up adding lines, I'm gonna add a little bit of this darkish pinkish color, so it kind of comes out purpley. I'm just kind of trying to blend in, not really blend, but like add some darker tones to the shadowed areas on the face as well as the neck. So in that little eye socket as well as on the neck at the top. I'm gonna rinse out my brush so I can get some clean pink. All right. So I'm just kind of, at this point, I'm kind of just adding in my own little pieces. All right. I'm trying to think of what else I want to do. I think I almost want to get some purple, put here at the bottom, just to get more texture. And then go into the pink, like the lighter pink. I'm gonna come back in with some white and finish up just kind of blending that all in. And it's really hard for me to leave big things of paint on here and not like blend them in. But that's kind of the nature of it. All right. And with that, I think we are done. Unless I have more white and I can brighten up the face. Let me see if any white comes out of this tube because I think I'm officially out. Nice. Got a tiny, tiny bit. Just gonna add a little bit of light to the light places. Like that. All right, I think I'm officially done. I like it. I love the texture. I love how fun it is. I think it's really pretty. I love all the colors in it. I'm going to just add a little bit more white in the eye area. Alright. There we go. All done. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this class. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope that you got out of your comfort zone and tried something new if you've never tried it before. I hope you had fun. I look forward to our next set of classes. If you would like a sneak peek on what we're going to paint next, I will be posting that either today or tomorrow. Either tomorrow or Friday. On my Facebook page. So please go over there, follow me on Facebook, and then also join our artist community. Just you can just Google, or not Google, I mean you probably could Google, but just look up on Facebook Samantha Anderson Artist Community, and it should be under the groups tab. And I will be posting my painting on that page, so you can add yours to the album. We'll see you next time. We'll see you next month. Same time, same place. We'll see you then. Bye, guys.